Well, hello and welcome to this edition of River City Blue. I'm your host, Corporal T.B. Scarce, and we thank you for joining us. And as you can see, we're out in the field today. We got a special presentation we'll be bringing today. We're going to talk all about the Special Olympics and the law enforcement torch run. And here to go over some of that points with me is Corporal Goins. Corporal Goins, we thank you for joining us today on River City Blue.
It's a pleasure being here with you.
Well, Corporal, let's talk just a few minutes about you because you're no stranger to Special Olympics and to the Danville Police Department. So how long have you been employed now with the Danville Police Department?
I've been with the department about 13 years.
And in those 13 years, you've been fortunate enough to move around. So tell us a little bit about some of the experiences work-related there.
I worked patrol for about 7 years. I worked in investigations for about 3 years, and then I got promoted and moved over to school resource officer. And now I'm the school resource officer supervisor, so just manage the schools and the SROs that are involved in it.
So how many school resource officers do you have working under you right now?
We have 4 total.
And so you guys take care of providing a police officer presence and some actual classroom stuff at each of the schools that you're assigned to, and then satellite schools as well. Is that?
Yeah, we go from, you have your main schools, which, you know, your main ones like 2 at GW, you have 1 at Bonner, 1 at Westwood, and then 1 at Langston. And you have satellite schools, which are elementary schools. So you get there, you know, occasionally. You stop in a couple of times out of the year, or week, You come in, talk to them, you know, put on different programs and events, different stuff.
And one of the programs that we're going to highlight today in particular is the law enforcement torch run. Now, it's my understanding that this program is not only national and statewide, but the city of Danville has been participating for many years. So tell us a little bit about the torch run and how it benefits Special Olympics and how the law enforcement angle, the funds that we raise, helps the Olympians in their quest for the program.
Well, what we do with the department is we go in and we'll put on special events that we do all during the year. Citizens might have seen us out doing Cover the Cruisers. We did Cops and Cows down at Texas Steakhouse. We take all of that money and then we put it into a fund, and then it goes in as far as, I guess, contributing to all of the money with us in Special Olympics. So when we have the event at GW, like we usually have every year, it goes to helping out with that and providing stuff for the athletes, travel expenses, different things that they might need.
And this is an extremely worthwhile program, and like we said, the Danville Police Department has participated many years, and we can see in the background there's some people stretching and warming up. And are these some of the runners we're going to have running today?
Yes, we usually get volunteers that come in. We have certain people that come in, I guess, every year, but other people, depending on their schedule, they come in. We end up getting the actual torch from Martinsville. They bring it in to city limits. We bring it in. We go all the way down Riverside. We go up Main Street, down Patton Street, and that's the end of our run. So, yeah, we go all the way through the city.
And then from the city limits, it gets picked up yet another jurisdiction and taken to the next jurisdictional line.
Yeah, tomorrow what'll happen is we'll be at the Square Armory up there, and we'll go from there, and we'll go all the way. It used to be till Lynchburg, where like you'll go and you just run all the way up there. So it's a 2-day event.
So basically this is going to involve law enforcement agencies from across the state, and we're basically bringing that torch from jurisdiction line to jurisdiction line. That's actually what we're waiting on now. We're waiting on Martinsville, Henry County.
Yes.
They're going to be bringing the torch in, so in just a little bit we'll be able to see the torch hand off from one jurisdiction to the next, and we'll be out there catching our runners from Danville as they hit the highway and start their trek across the city of Danville with the Special Olympics torch. Well, Corporal, we thank you so much for joining us today. We'll be following along, getting some footage of you guys out there sweating and putting out all that effort, and we appreciate everything you do for the city of Danville and for the city of Danville school program.
Well, I appreciate y'all coming and, you know, putting light onto it, because a lot of people really don't know about it as much as other people do. So I'm glad y'all were able to come out and, you know, help us out.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Corporal. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
Well, we're joined now by Deputy Barry Sneed with the Pittsylvania County Sheriff's Department, and I know you're thinking Pittsylvania County Sheriff's Department. Well, Mr. Sneed has a very long-standing history with not only the Danville Police Department, but with the Special Olympics torch run. And it's my understanding, you know, you put in, what, over 30 years with the City of Danville Police Department?
31.
31 years. And after retirement, you just didn't have quite enough, so you went to Pittsylvania County and started work out there.
Been there 6 years now.
6 years. So over that 31-year period with the City of Danville, what year did you start participating with the torch run?
1987.
1987. So here we are in 2015, and as you can see, Mr. Sneed is still very heavily involved with the law enforcement torch run. So tell us a little bit, Barry, if you don't mind, why it's so important. What's the importance behind this particular program?
Well, it's for a good cause. We help to raise money for those that less fortunate than us.
And it gives these special athletes an opportunity to participate in all kinds of events across the state.
Yeah, see what they do, they have a program over GW where the local ones participate, and then they go on to Richmond and have a thing in Richmond. That'll be coming up this Saturday.
Okay. So, and we've had quite a success story over the years with the different participants winning different levels of these.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a good thing. And throughout the year, our agency and your agency as well participate in different fundraising events. And this is kind of the culmination. We're talking with Corporal Goins earlier. We're bringing the torch from jurisdiction to jurisdiction to show that solidarity. Is that something you look forward to every year? So we're waiting. We're here on the side of 58. How much longer do you think we're going to have to wait on this torch?
Probably another hour.
Another hour.
When I went out earlier, they was 20 miles out.
20 miles. And these guys and girls, they're all going to be running right along the highway with police escort or law enforcement escort. So we hope that more people will understand what the program's all about, and maybe next year we'll have even more support.
That's right.
Mr. Sneed, we thank you so much for taking a few minutes with us here on
You're
River
welcome.
City Blue.
Appreciate you being out here too.
Well, we're joined now by Officer Tammy Taylor, and feels a little bit different. I have to be in that uniform today, doesn't it?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I'm out here doing a good cause, so I appreciate that as well. Mm-hmm.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How long have you been with the Danville Police Department?
I've been with the Danville Police Department 8 years. Mm-hmm.
And 8 years. So, and your current assignment is what?
Right now I work as an SRO at GW High School, which I fully enjoy.
So as a school resource officer, you get to work with kids and do a lot of things that the regular police officers don't get to do.
Yes, sir, that is correct. I have the opportunity to see children grow and, get their education and become something later on in life.
And one of those particular programs that you get exposure to is the Special Olympics. How many years have you been participating with that?
I've been doing that close to 4 years.
4 years. So tell us a little bit about the motivation.
The motivation is that you have the opportunity to give back to special needs, and also outside of doing police work, I have the opportunity to represent law enforcement and come together with a group of other law enforcement officers for a great cause, and that's the motivation that I have.
And that's not only a city and county, a state thing, but it's a national thing.
That's correct. Nationally, we all do it at all different types of places, and because it makes us become more brotherly and sisterly in terms of our careers as law enforcement officers.
And unfortunately for a lot of people, this is not a side of law enforcement that they normally see. I mean, they see us out on the streets,
right?
Serving and protecting, so to speak.
That is correct.
And this takes that serving to a whole different level.
Yes, people get to see us again outside of our uniforms, and we're able to show them that there's more to us than that. There's more to us giving back, to special needs and other organizations as well.
Tammy, we thank you for taking a few minutes here on River City Blue. I would say break a leg, but we don't want you to do that.
No, you don't.
Thanks, Tammy. Well, we're joined now by a couple other participants in the law enforcement torch run for Special Olympics, and these are representatives of the city of Danville. We have people representing the Danville Police Department and the Danville Fire Department. We want to take just a couple minutes to talk with these guys and find out what their motivation is for participating in Special Olympics, because this is definitely a very important cause, and we thank them for being here today. So first we're going to talk with Tommy Merricks. Tommy, tell us a little bit about this program and why it's important to you.
Well, my daughter participates in Special Olympics. She has Down syndrome, and she plays basketball, volleyball, and she really enjoys the program. And I've seen the program in action, seen the athletes get together, and it's real special for them. So I like to be able to help when I can.
And you know what, by putting that personal touch on there, we appreciate you talking with us about that. That just makes it all the more real. And we hope you understand that this is a very important program, and it benefits so many people from so many different walks of life that we're very thankful to be a part of this particular program. We've got some more people here we want to talk to. This is Richie Guill. Richie, tell us a little bit about why you're here. I mean, you could be anywhere else today, but why are you here running in the torch run?
Well, I'm mostly here to support the cause, and then Captain Merrick's, we've worked together for many years, and support his daughter in the Special Olympics.
That's great. The power of influence. Power of influence. And then you brought someone else with you from the Danville Fire Department. So tell us a little bit about why you're here today.
Well, certainly the main goal is to raise money for the Special Olympics. You know, that's the ultimate goal, is to support the kids. But also, you know, being a member of the fire department, it gets me out here and helps support the police department. You know, we're all a team here with the city, and especially our two departments, public safety. So it's very important for me to be here to support the police department and what they do, and also ultimately for the Special Olympics.
Couldn't have said it better. Now, Ed, you're going to have to add a little something to that. It's going to be hard to follow, but how many years have you participated with Special Olympics, Ed?
Probably about 10.
About 10 years. So
Yes.
you're old hat for this.
Well, yeah, not as spry as I used to be with it, but I still like to come out and support the cause. I've been to Richmond a couple of times and help with the actual Special Olympics in Richmond, and it just means so much to these kids to have an outlet like that, and also to their families to have something to do for the kids. And I just think it's a worthy cause, and try to support it whenever I can.
Well spoken, well spoken. And you have to understand, too, that this is a different side of law enforcement that a lot of people aren't exposed to on a regular basis. You know, it's more than just putting on the uniform and going out here and dealing with the problems that you find every day in every society. It's about rolling up your sleeves, and in this case, putting on your running shoes and getting involved behind the scenes. So we want to thank all of these ladies and gentlemen that are here today for participating in Special Olympics, and we hope you'll stay tuned for the rest of the show.
You're not in here.
Yes, I am.
Move! Give it to him hard!
No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how.
Oh, you got...
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Well, welcome back to this edition of River City Blue, and we hope you've enjoyed the coverage so far of our Special Olympics torch run, covering things that the Danville Police Department is involved in both on and off the clock, just to give you an inside look at more of what your Danville Police Department is all about. Now, we're joined here in this second portion of our show with Paul Leapy. And Paul, we thank you for taking a few minutes to be with us on River City Blue.
Happy to do so.
And we're going to talk just a little bit about the old West End neighborhood. And we're going to talk about a very new communications tool that you, I'm going to say, took a little bit of credit for pointing us in the direction of. And that is the Nextdoor communications tool, or the Nextdoor app. So first off, let's back up just a little bit. And your neighborhood, you're trying to work very closely with community development and the revitalization of everything downtown. And that's huge, and we thank you for that. So as a way to start connecting with some of your neighbors, tell us how you guys came to use the Nextdoor program.
Well, we actually started out looking initially to make some social connections. When we first came to Danville 11 years ago, my wife and I, we knew all of our neighbors. Now, of course, that took some effort, but now it seems like people don't expend the effort, and we wanted to find some new way in order to bring people together. Now, since we see everybody with their head down looking at their cell phone, it occurred to us that digitally might be the right way to do it. And as a result, we found the Nextdoor application and signed our neighborhood up. It's nice to note that so many neighborhoods here in Danville have followed suit, and we now have other people communicating through the Nextdoor app, both within their neighborhood and from time to time across neighborhoods.
And it was a pretty simple process to get signed up.
It really was. I was the initial founder. All I had to do was draw on a Google map where our neighborhood was, and Nextdoor handled just about everything else.
And then invite a few friends to join.
Well, I've been doing a lot of that, both electronically and walking up and down the streets with postcards and flyers. And we now have over 80 people here in this small neighborhood signed up for Nextdoor.
Now, back in March, you and I had a meeting with community development about some other issues that were going on in the city. And we kind of talked about the Nextdoor app. And following that meeting, I started doing a little more research and a little homework on it. And I forwarded that to our police administration. And the result of that is the police department is now engaged in using the Nextdoor portal as a communications tool. And from us, the benefits we hope are going to be very far-reaching. Now, from an individual neighborhood standpoint, you guys are able to communicate about, a block party or an afternoon brunch at someone's, back portico, or a lost dog, or hey, you can now send information directly to the police department. So tell us how you think that's going to help the neighborhood.
Well, first of all, a neighborhood that's connected, where the neighbors know one another, is going to be safer. That's just by definition. If you know somebody, you tend to look out for them. So that's one positive outcome. In terms of the city working with community development, we have now much more of a dialogue going on with that department of the city than we did before. And that's so important because of the revitalization efforts going on here downtown and in the Old West End.
Well, that's great to hear. Now, from us, what we're going to do just following this brief interview here is we're going to actually walk you through some of the tools that we have available on the Nextdoor portal and show you how we're able to connect with neighborhoods, send out information, receive information, and kind of monitor what that information is. Make sure it's not getting out of hand, make sure everything is following the tenor, so to speak, of what's going on. So is there anything else you'd like to add to our viewers about the Nextdoor or about neighborhood connectivity? Because it's very important, and we thank you for taking the time to do that.
Well, there is one other thing I'd like to point out, and that is when the police department first began to get involved with Nextdoor, and we saw that you would sign up, I started asking neighbors what they thought about that. And I got to tell you, the response was 100% positive. Everybody's very happy to see you involved.
Well, good. Well, good. We hope that this new communications tool will be a plus for the city of Danville, because remember, we're your Danville Police Department. The things that we do should be a reflection of how you want to see us perform here in the field. So Nextdoor, hope you'll check it out, find your neighborhood, sign up. We're going to have information available on our website about how you can sign up for Nextdoor, and that's www.danville-va.gov. And stay tuned for the follow-up that will wrap up the Nextdoor and show you some of the tools that we have. Paul, we thank you for joining us today on River City Blue.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Well, as you can see, there are quite a few uses, very important uses, no doubt, for the Nextdoor application. We're going to highlight very quickly a few that the Danville Police Department will be utilizing on the public agency side of the Nextdoor portal. So here's the City of Danville Police Department's homepage on Nextdoor, and as we scroll down through here, you can see some of the posts that we have put out. You can see where people have replied or thanked us for a post, and that's good feedback. So real quickly, we want to show you how we will use this as a communications tool. When we're getting ready to send out a post, everything on this map here that you're seeing highlighted is considered the service area for the City of Danville. And when we click on this feature here for neighborhoods, you see all the different neighborhoods that are either launched or in pilot phase that we currently communicate with. So if you have questions about setting up a Nextdoor account, you can visit www.nextdoor.com under the frequently asked questions, or you can call the Crime Prevention Office at 797-8898, and we can walk you through the steps. We also have a list of those steps available on our website at www.danville-va.gov. Search word Nextdoor. It's under the Crime Prevention Neighborhood Watch section. So for us, this is a very important tool, because if I needed to communicate with one particular neighborhood, such as this one right here, I could create a post specifically for the members signed up in this neighborhood, and they would be the only ones that would get that particular information if it was pertinent just to that particular section of the city. However, I could also include all of the neighborhoods in the service area by selecting another feature, and they would all get the same piece of information if it were public safety related citywide. Now, each of these neighborhoods have the ability to communicate directly back with us, either from their leads or from their individual members. And the beauty of this particular function is that the posts are always private. Unless you select other people to see the post, it's a one-to-one communication. So no one else in your service area is going to see that communication to you or from you, and we can't see any of the communication that's going on in between the different neighborhoods. So, for instance, if we click on this particular neighborhood right here that we just highlighted, that's the Old West End. It tells me that they have currently 79 total members. They've had 9 new members join in the last 30 days. They've had 10 posts in the neighborhood sent to the neighborhood, 16 thanks for the posts that have been put up, 126 posts from neighbor to neighbor, and 15 from crime and safety. That's the only information that we're able to see. So who's sending the post? We don't know that unless they communicate with us directly. So that gives the neighborhoods a lot of privacy to work with. So we hope that people will find this a very strong communications tool and will continue to use it. And we hope that you'll sign up to use Nextdoor. Find your neighborhood if there's an existing one. Contact the lead for that neighborhood or create your own neighborhood. The more neighborhoods we have communicating, the stronger the city of Danville will be, because a communicating neighborhood is a safer neighborhood.
All right, and just before we wrap things up here on this edition of River City Blue, we want to give a special shout out and a big thank you to all the ladies and gentlemen that participated in the law enforcement torch run. They were able to raise several $1,000s towards the Special Olympics program and ran a little over 30 miles across the city of Danville to deliver the torch to its next jurisdiction destination. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. Stay tuned for the next one. We'll be in touch.